this is Mitski. I'm going to talk about my song called The Deal. So this song started a little differently than other songs. This song started when I misinterpreted a poem. So I was reading, this is my notebook, I was reading this poem by Maria Mitchell, who was an astronomer in the mid-1800s. And this poem is called How Charming is Divine Philosophy, which is a line from John Milton, but that's a whole other tangent. I'm just not going to get into it. Basically, it's a poem about how when you go on a walk alone at night is when you can discover beautiful things about the world and about yourself that you probably wouldn't be able to discover if you were walking with somebody else or you were talking and your ears were full of talk instead of listening to the sounds of the night. So that's basically what the song is about. There was this one line I read that went, "There's a deal to be learned on a midnight walk when you take it all alone." But when I read it, I, for some reason, misread it as there's a deal to be made on a midnight walk when you take it all alone. And before I realized that I was misreading it, I thought, oh, that's an interesting thought. What kind of deal can you make on a midnight walk? And then long after I reread it and I was like, oh, I just made a mistake, I thought, well, what if it was about making a deal on a midnight walk? What does that entail? What kind of deal? What are you getting? What are you giving? And that just jogged my thought process, and that's basically how this song started for me, just imagining what it would be like, or imagining how the story would go. So that's how it started. In terms of what it means, I mean, this song is much more narrative than maybe my other songs. There's like a beginning, middle, and end, and it's an actual fictional story. But in terms of what I intended for it, I think there are some of us, including myself, who just can't help but give ourselves away. And for some people it manifests in addiction. For some people it means we can't help but give our power up to another person who wants to control people. And for some people, I think for a lot of people, it just means giving ourselves over to the market, having it tell us who we are and what we need to buy in order to be ourselves. I feel like it manifests in a lot of different ways. And I think we can't help but do it because sometimes it's just so hard to carry the full weight of our existence and actually be fully accountable for it. And so we give ourselves away, or we hope to unburden ourselves by handing over the burden to another person or entity. And in the moment, it maybe numbs the pain, it makes things easier, but I wanted to write a song about how in doing so, maybe you also give up your, how do I say this? Your capacity to feel full, real, unbound joy, or just sing your full existence, sing out who you are. You give up the good with the bad, basically. So I guess that's what I wanted to write about, and that's what this song is about, hopefully. But at the end of the day, it can mean whatever you want it to mean. Thank you.